welcome to Late Night Daya Show. We are very happy to be here tonight, and today we will discuss a very important thing that has happened last month. As you know, we have had many editions about NAFTA and the renegotiations of it with the new USMCA. And today we're going to here to discuss our third edition.
Yeah, that's right. Like, we are very happy that finally a decision has been made. So I'm sure that it's going to be like a very good thing for everyone.
Yeah, I know. For us, it is very important that you are always well informed, and that's why we have invited Mr. Ildefonso Guajardo, and he will be explaining some facts about the results of this renegotiation. Please welcome to the stage.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Hello, Ildefonso. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How
Great,
are you?
Great. Well, here we are.
So
You
that's
can
great.
complain.
But first, like, it is necessary to provide like a short brief about the summary of all the historical context. So that's why, like, all the negotiation that has been made during that last year. So that's why we have with us like Chrystia Freeland, and who is the Foreign Affairs Minister for Canada, and who has also negotiated the agreement for the part.
Welcome, Krisha. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Okay, perfect. Well, now that we're all here, can you provide us a small brief about what was NAFTA? Because many people don't know yet, so.
Well, first, thank you. I'm very happy to be here, so I'm going to start explaining. The North American Free Trade Agreement, also known as NAFTA, is a pact between Mexico, the US, and Canada. And it's the world's largest free trade. It's one of the world's largest free trade zones. It has brought a lot of investment and jobs to Mexico. But since Donald Trump started his presidential campaign, he promised that he was going to make America great again. And this included the modernization and elimination of NAFTA to make it a better deal for the U.S. interests regarding jobs, investment, etc.
Well, thank you, Ms. Freeland. Now, let's give some space to Mr. Ildefonso, who will surely give us a big perspective about the Mexican case in the renegotiations.
Yeah, sure. Well, first of all, hello everyone. Good evening. I'm happy to be here with you. In this section of the program, I'm going to explain the results of the chapters related to publication, administration, administrative and institutional provision, dispute settlement, inspections, and general provision, as also macroeconomic policies and exchange rate matters.
Excellent. Actually, I was reading about it, and I saw that now with this new agreement, it will be more easy, like, for us to be aware of all the regulations and the new responsibilities for the countries. Because now each party should be posting their laws and the regulations for the public in general. And also, if there is any problem, like, now all the countries and the people, you are going to be aware, like, for how the problem is going to be solved. So can you please explain, like, other two chapters?
Yes, well, actually, that's exactly what chapter 29 makes reference, so you couldn't explain it better.
That's amazing. She knows everything, you know. She spends reading all that stuff. Well, and that's amazing. Can you please give us another perspective of the other two chapters that you mentioned?
Of course. In the case of the chapter 30, it talks about how the institutional provisions and dispute settlements was presented in NAFTA as chapter 20 maintained. However, for this new agreement, chapter 30 will only assess the institutional provisions, while the dispute settlement chapter is talked about in chapter 31, which I will explain later. Because of the fact that this was maintained, chapter 30 allows the Trade Commission to have more power in the sense that it can be dissolved by committees and working groups established under the agreement previously made. For the purpose of this right functioning of the general agreement, as well as more importantly, the Trade Commission and the decision that it will have. In the case of Chapter 31, it basically talks about how the key industries, the ones that are considered like the most important for each of the three countries, that are telecom, oil, gas, and infrastructure, um, are the ones that gonna be still protected by the mechanism that was used in NAFTA, that basically says that in case dispute takes place, an outside arbitration body will serve as the one that will arbitrate the problem, so it can be solved. And it lets outside other industries, even though they are also important. For example, in the case of Mexico, for us it's very important the manufacturing system and how that industry works, and that industry is basically as outside this new mechanism, and it is going to be protected just under the most favored nation and the expropriation method that NAFTA is playing. Now, talking about Chapter 32, this chapter talks about the exemptions and general provisions that basically make parties to exclude certain areas from the agreement, to set out obligations, but apply generally across the agreement. Topics like health, cultural heritage, national security, and culture are the most commonly used in order to skip rules and regulations from the agreement.
Yeah, I think it's very important to know about that so we could know when they are using them as a strategy to skip things, as you said. And well, Freeland, can you share something new? Is there any something that has never been said in this agreement? Is there anything?
Well, besides the power the Trade Commission will have, that its decisions will be binding for the two most controversial topics since NAFTA was formed, which is investment and dispute settlement. We also have a new chapter that involves the economy of this globalized world. This is the inclusion of the market-determined exchange rate to promote strong, sustainable, and balanced growth. Well, as I said before, this is a whole new panorama for the three countries, as they didn't have agreed before on that in NAFTA. This ensures that the three economies work in the same fields with the same system of floating rates, which is the exact opposite of fixed rates.
Great. That's great. And is there anything else you would like to add?
Well, another big issue that has been solved. Trump has now achieved his goal of terminating and renegotiating the agreement every 5 years. This has been set to a 16-year period with joint reviews, which I consider are very important in order to adapt the agreement into the phenomena that are occurring during that time. And I think it is something that modern society understands as we experience continuous change day by day.
Well, is there anything else you would like to say? No? I think we have talked about the most important issues of the new USMCA, and I would like to thank you guys to all our public because you are showing a lot of interest of these new issues that are occurring nowadays. And well, I think this renegotiation was very important because new things are coming up, so we need to face those challenges with new evolution. So thank you and see you next time.